Hey everybody, this is Craig from the University of Applied Research and Development, and it is our privilege to have with us Jimmy Cave, who is the author of Game Changer. Hi, Jimmy.
How you doing, Dr. Hanson?
Really great to hear from you, and I'd love to unpack what you did in the military and your service, and then we can move on to the transition and what helped with the transition to civilian life, and then the difference that you're making in the lives of veterans as well. So, why don't you start with telling us about your service and what you did and which branch of the military you were in?
Yes, after graduating high school, I went in active duty Army and served 3 years active duty. And I served about 12, 14 years in the reserve component.
Okay, and where were you based?
I was stationed active duty in Alaska in the Army. And I did my reserve time up there in Alaska. And then I moved to Tuscaloosa and then moved to Atlanta, where I was at Dobbins Air Reserve Base, where I did the rest of my reserve time at Dobbins Air Reserve Base. And when I was active duty in the Army, my job was supply, worked in a warehouse ordering supplies and equipment for a different military unit on base. And when I was in the reserve component, I was in services, which consists of mortuary, recreation, food, cooking for the soldiers on drill weekends.
And so, did you enjoy it? Was it something that was was a passion for you?
Yeah, I loved it, but then it got to a point where I was ready to move on towards the end. I went in the military for the benefits, the opportunity to travel. And when I got out of active duty, I went to college up there in Alaska, University of Alaska Fairbanks, got my associate degree there, and transferred to Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama. I went there for a year and then transferred to Montgomery, Alabama to Faulkner University, where I got my bachelor's degree.
Oh, congratulations! How long ago was
Yeah.
that?
Well, I joined back in 93, active duty, 3 years there in 96. Then I moved to Tuscaloosa in 1998 and a lot of moving. And then moved back to Atlanta after that. So in the military, we used to traveling, we used to moving a lot. And I did that more even after I got out of the 3 year active duty time.
Did you have a family while you were active service or in the reserves?
Yeah, I was married at the time. I'm no longer married now and have one child, one son.
And did they move around with you? Did they?
Like I said, the active duty part, my son wasn't born then. Actually, he was born much later after the active duty part when I was doing reserve in Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
So he wasn't a part of me moving around much.
So that transition when you decided to leave active service and move into civilian life and do things differently, what were some of the things that helped you with that transition? What were some of the challenges and what helped you make that move?
Well, at the time, compared to transitioning back then, compared to now, it wasn't required for the military to give soldiers transitioning assistance when they left the military. But now they've got a law that they have to give them some type of transition assistance. It wasn't on then when I got out back in 1996. So I was on my own. So that's what happened a lot of time when soldiers get out of the military, they don't know where to go and seek assistance.
Mm.
And that's what prompted me to write my book because I'm a former employee at the VA hospital regional office and the vet center.
Mm.
So from working at those three locations, actually my psychiatry doctor, who is the one who referred me, recommended me to write the book because he saw that I had a lot of knowledge, working at the VA that could help other veterans.
Wow. So when you say you're a psychologist or a psychiatrist, is that because you are getting therapy to deal with things from your service?
Right. Yeah, I was over in Iraq back in 2003, came back home and having nightmares, couldn't sleep, and a lot of memories from being over in Iraq. So I'm getting ongoing treatment even as of today.
Right.
And
Well, I
some of
was
those,
speaking to. Sorry,
yeah,
Jimmy,
some of those
carry on.
symptoms last for a long time, and other physical ailments, from being in the military, it lasts a long time.
Jimmy, I was speaking to someone this morning who's a veteran. It was our first Veteran Stories episode. And he was saying about the sleep patterns being disturbed. And I think he mentioned about loud noises and things like that. What were some of the
Right.
things that were difficult for you?
Well, like I said, jumping up out of your sleep, you hear a neighbor's car slam. See, when you're in the military in a war zone, you have to be on alert. And when I was over there,
Mm,
we just had a little cart. We was out there, and we just laid on the cart for a few minutes, take a rest, 30 minutes or a couple hours of rest. Then you back up, but you can hear rocket mortars flying over, the bombs. So you never got no sleep, really.
right. And is that what's carried on with you, creating the nightmares and the need for support?
Right, right. And that's why it's important for a lot of veterans to get treatment. And a lot of them don't know where to go or how to seek assistance. And some veterans don't even know that they have we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
Mm,
And sometimes the family members don't know what they're going through, or they can't sleep next to your spouse. You have to
mm,
go in separate rooms, you know, kicking and jumping in your sleep. That
mm.
can affect your spouse as well.
So, would it be fair to say, Jimmy, that sometimes veterans don't know what they don't know in terms of services that are available to help them? So, it's not just about how do I access it, they don't even know that it's there. And that's why what you do is important.
Right. Yeah. And that's my passion. Why I wrote the book. And like I said, when I was working at the VA, a lot of veterans didn't know the system was available. And that's why one reason why I wrote the book to say, hey, veteran, these are the benefits. You can get help. You can get treatment for your condition. And like I said, a lot of times they don't even know that they got the condition. They don't even know. They never heard the word PTSD. They don't know what it is.
Mm,
All they know is that they having, problems, from being in the military, but they don't know the word for it or the title, the diagnosis for it.
right. Jimmy, what are some of the things that you're regularly sharing with veterans, some of those services that are most in need that can really make the difference for them?
Oh, you said what type of services that's available?
Yeah, the things that you find keep coming up for veterans that you can say, hey, this is a service that's available to you to help you.
Okay, great. Yeah. Some years ago, I used to work at the vet center. They offer ongoing mental treatment for veterans for depression, for PTSD. They can go to the local vet center, and they have psychiatrists there that can give them counseling for free,
Mm,
and they can get group treatment at the medical center. They have PTSD groups even at the VA medical center. But
mm,
that's another thing. They don't know that they should go to their primary care doctor. But the primary care doctor have to put a consult or referral in for them to go to the mental health treatment department.
mhm.
That consult from the primary care doctor at the VA will refer them to mental health treatment.
Okay. So, mental health, is there something else that veterans don't know as a service or a benefit that they could access that you regularly remind them about?
Yeah, right. And in the book, I wrote about like physical treatment, physical health, like physical therapists. So they can go to the VA hospital to get physical treatment. They're at the VA hospital. And if a veteran lives, let's say 4 or 5 miles outside of the local VA, the VA will compensate the doctor, whoever they go to in a local town or wherever they stay. The VA will reimburse the doctors for the different treatments that they're going through.
Okay, so they don't necessarily have to come to the Veterans Centre. They can actually go to their local doctor, not have to travel.
Right. And they started that, I would say, several years ago when they changed the regulation, because more and more veterans are living in the rural neighborhoods, and a lot of them don't have
Mm,
transportation to drive
mm,
long miles to the VA hospital.
mm.
So the VA made it more easier for the veteran, I would say about 5, 6 years ago, that they can go to a local doctor in their neighborhood.
Mm. Okay, so there's the mental treatment, there's the physical treatment as well. What else is there that veterans don't know might be available for them?
Also, Caregiver Program that came out a few years ago. Um, they can get compensated, whoever taking care of the veterans, their caregiver. The VA
Mm,
will pay them a stipend for caring for the veteran, because they have to take the veteran to the doctor, and run errands,
mm.
feed and cook for the veteran. So the VA have a caregiver program that they can enroll in, and that will compensate the veteran's caregiver, which
Right.
is a game changer, because that way they can take care of the veteran and not have to worry about keeping their job. They can focus on taking care of that veteran. It could be the spouse, the children, and they
Mm.
can go on the v.gov. It'll give them qualification of who qualifies to be a caregiver on va.gov.
That's really helpful information for families that are struggling and they think that they need to give up work and go on other government assistance or rely on family and friends, and they didn't know that they could actually be paid for caring for their relative. It's bad enough having someone who's going through trauma and dealing with that,
Mhm.
but then having to give up employment and rely on others is really difficult. That's really useful information. In the time that we have left, Jimmy, how about one more from your book, one more tip that veterans don't know but they need to know?
Well, I know for myself, from my experience, when you go and purchase a vehicle, you can get that vehicle tag for free, your driving license for free. You just show your VA letter that will validate you as a veteran. That can save a veteran thousands of dollars on a tag, a
Mm,
Valorum tag, and a driving license for free. And also VA home loan. A lot of veterans don't know that they can get a VA home loan for zero down payment.
wow.
But they have to be a VA lender, well, a VA lender, but the builder, the seller. Lately, due to the pandemic, a lot of lenders don't want to work with the VA lenders. So a veteran should, do their research, look on the internet for VA lenders, or call the builders or the home
Mm,
that they're looking for. And that should be the first question: do y'all um, lend out to veterans? Are you a VA lender?
mm.
I would say
That's
VA
really
lender
good.
friendly. Hmm.
So there's five things there. One is the mental treatment, the physical treatment, the caregiver program support, the vehicle cost, driver's license and tags, the home loan opportunity. Those are some great things. Jimmy, going forward for veterans or their families who want to access what you know, they could buy the book, but I think you do some other things as well. You do seminars and webinars.
Well, like I said, that's what I'm looking to get into whenever the opportunity presents itself. For example, I would like to go to different military bases and do workshop with veterans that are exiting.
Mm,
So it's just a matter of people knowing that I'm out there. So another example is marketing the book. I tried with Google.com, but they did not know how to network with the military people, or the people that work on base. So I'm doing it myself. It's a long process of connecting with different people on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn don't allow me 40 people to connect with each week. So that's a slow process of connecting with
Right.
people on weekend.
So if there's a veterans group or an individual family, you're open to them contacting you if they're local to you. Maybe you could visit, do a seminar for groups of people.
Yeah, and due to the pandemic, also like what we're doing, like a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Last year. I started a business, a consulting business, but it didn't go anywhere. But if I start picking up, you know, veterans that are interested, then I may go back opening the business up, the consulting business part of it. But I should have started doing this first before I started the business. Is getting on LinkedIn like we're doing today, and a lot of time it's word of mouth when you trying
Right.
to start a business or trying to market your book. Once a veteran buy your book, they'll go and share it with other veterans.
Mm.
So that's been my biggest challenge due to the pandemic. Publish a book, but the pandemic, has been a big challenge.
Well, look, I absolutely commit that the recording of this, once I get it up on YouTube and put it on LinkedIn, and I'll make sure that I'll be sharing it in the veterans groups that I'm part of so that the veterans in there and the organizers know about what you do.
Okay, I appreciate it very much.
Jimmy, I just want to wrap up and say thank you. First of all, thank you for your service for the country,
Yes,
and
sir.
also thank you for what you're doing. You really are a difference maker. You're making a difference in the lives of veterans, sharing knowledge that they otherwise wouldn't have to make their lives better and make their transition back to civilian life and their families much, much better, much improved. So thank you for the work you're doing. You're doing fantastic.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.